walk in the countryside today, chances are you'll come across Meadowsweet.
Will you? Here to tell us about all the uses and benefits and what Meadowsweet is. We're also going to make some delicious ice cream. It's Forager Feebee Foran. Good morning to you, Phoebe.
How are you?
Yeah, so I have never heard of Meadowsweet. What is it?
I think a lot of people might not have heard of the name, but you might recognise it when you're out for your walk or...
These ones?
No.
They're hydrangeas. These ones here. So all these ones here at the front. I just brought a bit of pop of colour, you know.
Thank you. And it does look, it looks fantastic.
So these guys here, they're called Meadowsweet, and currently you will see them all along the hedgerows in the Irish countryside. I collected these yesterday in Wexford, down in Castletown. But like you will find them if you were driving through the mountains, anywhere along there's a hedgerow.
How would you distinguish it?
So it grows quite tall.
Okay.
Tall like this, and they'll stand out of the hedges, and they have these tall plumes. Now, these guys here, the colour has kind of changed a little bit in them because I picked them yesterday, but they're usually quite creamy, and they stand upwards like this.
And if you do that, they all look...
Oh,
that's
look
the same
thing with it, and it gets all over your clothes if you literally brush it.
That's why we're doing it outside, because you make a bit of a mess. But also, there's a bit of a rhyme and reason to it as well. They say in Irish folklore, this is a plant that you don't bring into the house.
Why?
It's supposed to bring bad luck. Generally, with a lot of, there's like hawthorn as well, it'll be similar. It can bring death into the house. So we say, we're going to work with this one. We'll play with this one out in the back garden.
Really?
Yeah.
And do people believe that sort of stuff?
Well, some people do,
Would you take it inside?
I work with it out in the back garden. No, I'm not messing with the fairies.
Oh, wow.
So
you wouldn't, if you were doing any... So when you were doing all this with you had all this in the back garden?
So what I had to do was I had to take all of the flowers off the plant, and I sat in my back garden and I pulled them off the plant yesterday in my back garden.
Because you don't want to mess with the fairies.
Don't mess with the fairies, you know what I mean?
Would you not walk under a ladder?
Maybe I'd be okay with a ladder, but a fairy ring, not a hope.
Wow, there you go.
Very interesting. Okay, well, listen, where would you find this generally? Just like in meadows?
Well, so it's funny, because the name meadow, you would think it grows in meadows. It can, of course, grow in meadows, but really you'll find it in hedgerows. And the name Meadowsweet actually comes from the fact that this would have been used by moonshiners to make mead. So MEAD, the mead of Meadowsweet, is actually in relation to making homebrew. Yeah, so they would have made mead from it, which is a honey-based liqueur that I make all the time. And I infuse it with these plants as well, because it brings out a beautiful flavour.
How do you do it? How do you make it?
Listen,
well, you have a bottle. We might be able to taste it. But what else are they good for? What else? What are the benefits
The benefits for it, this has been used all throughout through Irish history for taking care of things like arthritis, gout, skin conditions, biome problems with the stomach, digestive, really tones everything up.
But how do you do that? In what way? Is that a drink?
With things like that,
your gout and your stomach problems, just drink more mead.
As a herbalist, I will always make a tincture out of this, and you make it with the leaves and the flowers and the stems, because it's full of salicylic acid, which is a natural compound.
And then what would you do with that?
And then once it's made, people would have a little spoonful of a day once I prescribed it to them. So, but this guy here, when you are working with it for confectionery, for the likes of the stuff that we're going to do today, you don't really want to taste them very medicinally, and because of all the salicylic acid in those leaves and in the stems, it can taste a bit like Savlon.
Oh, yeah.
Which isn't great, because it's not really what you want in the likes of sweets and nice things.
It's good for medicine-y, because it tastes.
Yeah, it actually has that Savlon.
But I believe, are you not going to make ice cream with it?
Well, I am. But that's why when I worked with it, I took all of these. I one by one, Tommy, picked these little petals off for you last night.
In your back garden?
In my back garden, so that they wouldn't taste. Because those guys here, you don't need to eat it; it's grand, but you can smell it. But because it's only in the stems and in the leaves will really give off that really strong medicinal flavour. So what I did...
How do you make ice cream from it?
Very, very simple. So all you have to do is add in a cup of milk into your bowl.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
This is great. This is our second batch of ice cream today. Paul Nat got his ice cream earlier.
That's 2 cups of heavy cream.
Heavy cream.
I would put in, now this is the good stuff, like a half cup of sugar.
And probably extra to get rid of the taste of the Meadowsweet.
Well, no, this should be okay, because there's no leaves in it.
Adds to it.
And then you're going to put in a pinch of salt as well, just to help. And then first what you're going to do, though, is you're going to add in your Meadowsweet into it, and you're going to stir it all up, and you're going to leave it to infuse for about an hour.
Now, Phoebe.
I know, doesn't it look delicious?
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
Doesn't look like ice cream to me.
It doesn't look lovely. But, what you're going to do is you're just going to let it infuse for about an hour to get that flavour into it, but also to let the sugar that's in there to dissolve. Then you can strain them off. Don't be worried. Strain them off.
Because I was thinking, like, do you know, you have honeycomb and you have like bits of it all in. I thought it was going to be eating leaves.
You love chunks of it. I would always add in the likes of a heather honey, like from my pal Ollie. I would add in
to disguise the flavour.
No, bring it all out.
Stop and leave her alone.
And some vanilla extract, or if you have a vanilla pod, you can chuck that in as well, and leave it to infuse for an hour. And then you can either throw it into the freezer in a bowl and just kind of stir it regularly. It'll freeze over a couple of hours. Or if you have a little ice cream machine, you can chuck it into that.
Is that an ice cream machine?
Yeah, this is an ice cream machine, and you can chuck it into that, and it'll turn it off for you. Yeah.
Come on, Tommy, you try.
So here's some here for you.
That's for...
There's here.
No, that's enough.
You're a growing man now. Come on.
There you go. That's you, Alan.
Growing lad.
Right.
And what I do is, to make it even prettier, I would add in like a little sprig of some mallow flower, just for prettiness sake.
Looks lovely.
Can you eat them?
You can absolutely eat them.
Okay.
There we go.
If they go into the bowl.
So what's that, mallow?
Mallow, yeah.
Mallow, okay.
I took them from my neighbour Valerie's garden this morning.
Thank you, Valerie. Right, what do you reckon? So
it's tasty.
Nice?
Yeah, no, it is. It's very tasty.
Definitely
you also
taste
have a
the
drink
sugar
here as well. So how did you make that?
I have a drink here as well.
Oh,
so
you can taste it.
Yeah,
you can taste the
but it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's nice. Rearrange those words.
I thought it was going to be terrible, but it's not bad.
If I went into an ice cream shop and I saw Meadowsweet, I would consider getting it.
Yeah.
This one here is a Meadowsweet cordial as well that I've made for you guys.
How do you make that?
That is a very easy process as well. Stick it on a hob, a litre and a half of water, a load of sugar, and a load of those flowers. The same process.
And then
let it
strain
infuse.
it.
Strain it off and let it all infuse.
And could this be like medicine then, as you were saying?
That tastes a bit more medicinal, doesn't it?
I think that's nice too.
It's quite
Do you
nice.
like it? Do you like that
the
now?
orange and lemon. No.
Well, you see, I had to kind of hide the medicinal flavour, because I find with the cordial, though, you do get a bit more of a medicinal flavour.
And this is your mead.
Oh, God, I'll be murdered.
But tell me, is this good for you? Do you know when you're talking about the gout and all that sort of stuff?
So, as I said, it's so full of goodness. It'll take care of your stomach, digestive system. People will make it into a tea and run it through their hair for better, for hair strength and for nourishing their hair, like a shampoo.
What do you mean?
I like that. That's good.
After you've washed your hair, you could pour a cup of it over your hair.
Very sweet as well.
God, I'll be murdered.
Take a snip of the mead.
No, I won't be taking that.
No, because it's morning television.
It's morning television, exactly.
Drink wine. Drink wine.
Right, okay. Very interesting.
We do have to always say, people, like, if you have any of these problems, make sure you do go to a doctor and get it, and consult a doctor on it. But Phoebe, as always, thank you so much. Really interesting. These are just growing everywhere at the moment.
They're growing.
It is nice ice cream, Tommy. Don't worry about it.
Meadowsweet. There you have it. Keep an eye out and make whatever you can from it.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Feebee Foran, thank you.
Now, coming up next, the Skinner, Jennifer Rocca.